He had a cup full of pork chops. It was really weird. I don't know. He was like, no, I'm off the drinking.
Yeah, now he's doing like shots of gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to replace beer with gravy.
Yeah.
Or, hear me out.
You get beer gravy.
Beer gravy.
What's this about me drinking?
Let's talk beer gravy. He was doing
Mike's getting ready to hit the fucking beach over here.
shots of gravy.
What the fuck is happening?
Mike, are you going to do shots of gravy on the beach?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
He's in.
There it is. That's the outfit you have on.
Oh, this is commentary on my shirt. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
It's that kind of shirt.
Gravy shots on the beach.
Yeah. Me and Coconut Pete.
Well, when the blob's not after you, you might become a blob on your own through our conversation and our guide of how to. And that brings us back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. Oh. Welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. We are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked films. And today we are going to be looking at The Blob, a remake, a 1988 remake of the 1958 original, The Blob. And as always, I am Paul, and next to me is Coconut Pete himself, Mike.
Ahoy!
Mike, it is Mike.
It's me.
He's double fisting the coconuts, and
Yeah, he is.
yeah, he is. And there's Jeremy.
It's Blobalicious.
And Hazel,
The ultimate blob.
the one that's going to kill us all.
That's right.
I knew it.
That's right. Yeah.
They will only leave your bones. As noted, this is a remake, and 30 years after the original 1958, we get this movie, The Blob, 1988. A deadly entity from space crash lands near a small town and begins consuming everyone in its path. Panic ensues as shady government scientists try to contain the horrific creature. That
Oh, they gave a lot away there.
I was gonna say that that back end really
Kind of a
tells the tale.
spoiler there, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know a ton of people in this movie. Kevin Dillon is going to be your big one here. Big Kev, brother of Matt Dillon. Shawnee Smith, I've seen in a bunch of things. One thing that I forgot I noted in all this is she is in Summer School, and we last saw her in Iron Eagle. But I forgot she is also the lead voice actress in the video game series Lollipop Chainsaw, if anyone knows what this is.
I don't.
I have heard it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's like I've seen it. I've not played this game. I love kind of the aesthetics. So you get this very Buffy the Vampire Slayer girl who's in a cheerleading outfit, dueling chainsaws and just mowing down zombies, and like the whole movie is like, or the whole game apparently is just like her doing this stuff. I just seen. I
Is
know
there like a
there might
is
be a
there
movie
show
coming up
on Netflix or a movie?
Oh yeah,
about-
I think something might be in the works for that.
Interesting. She's also in like I think the Saw movies
She
as
is.
well.
She's in the
Yeah.
first 3
As the same person?
as the same person. She
I've
plays
only seen
yeah,
Amanda in
I
Saw.
believe.
Yeah, the 2 through 4 maybe.
So
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. She's in 3 of them. I don't think she was in the first one, but she plays like Amanda.
she's the woman that gets her head in the bear trap,
Oh,
in the reverse bear trap.
you don't want that.
Does she live
Yeah,
through this?
that's always bad.
She does.
Hey.
She's the only one that escapes the reverse bear trap.
And beyond
Yeah.
this, I don't have a lot of people that like outside of like I've seen a couple times. It's like I can never read my handwriting. Jeffrey DeMunn. He's the sheriff in Walking Dead. I've seen him before. He's also in The Hitcher. Joe Seneca, definitely we have seen him before. He last we saw him in Silverado, 1985. He is also in Crossroads with I almost said Fred Savage, but well, where's my head today? Karate Kid himself, Ralph Macchio. I would love to do Crossroads at some point in time. I mean, you get Ralph Macchio versus the devil and a guitar off. What more could you ask for?
Right. Jack Nance was in it for 8 seconds for some
true.
reason.
Yeah. Walking by,
Yeah.
saying
Hey
hi.
guys.
Hello.
Yeah, so this movie is a lot of fun. So you don't have like this big cast or crew, but this movie is definitely memorable for me. Hazel, as I said before, you've given us like a bunch of movies that we will be covering. I was just like, this is like a delightful one because for me, this is like Americana cinema, like to its core in its 80s. This movie scared the shit out of me when I saw it as a kid, because there are scenes that I don't really remember watching since I was a kid that I'm like, yeah, that's right. Like this movie doesn't really hold punches. Like you're like, they might live. They're not going to live. And some might, but the most or the majority do not. So one of my questions, Hazel, is out of all the movies, why this one? Like, why did this one come up in your mind, or like what brought you to this movie?
I was thinking about just random remakes, and this one stood out to me as like maybe one of my most favorite remakes that I saw, because the 1950s version starring Steve McQueen is very silly, and I remember choosing this in the video store when I was a spunky little teenager, based solely off the cover, which was terrifying. And then watching it and going like, that wasn't silly at all. They like actually tried.
Yeah. Yeah, and they do try. And like that's like the weird part of this movie, like rewatching it and thinking back to like me watching this as a kid. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I should have been watching this as a kid.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, because like some of these scenes are like reopening some of the wounds. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, this movie definitely haunts me in certain ways. I like, overall, you never fully know what this blob is. And I'm going to give you a spoiler. Like, we find out, like, who makes it and kind of where it's coming from, but we don't know much more about that. Like, there's a twist into where, but what? Like, who the hell knows?
You know, I have a theory. Maybe it was looking for the stuff to mate. You know,
love that.
Like the blob is
Nice.
like the male
Ultimate
version
crossover.
of yeah. And they have like little stuffed blob babies.
Stuffed blob babies.
One you eat, one eats you.
Oh,
Blobby
already
stuff.
have. What, are we making this movie?
So-
Or,
Yeah.
or we're making Halloween candy.
Well,
Hazel, I have a question for you. Since you have seen the Steve McQueen version, I have not.
it's
but
a real treat.
is it the same like premise, or is it
Yeah.
just like it involves a blob, but like the same plot line basically?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Steve McQueen, who looks like a leather satchel, is playing a 17-year-old, and they basically there's this. It's the same kind of like steps throughout, like hobo in the woods, finds meteor.
He's
even
the Kevin Dillon guy, right? Steve McQueen.
yes,
yeah.
he is the Kevin Dillon. And I would say that Kevin Dillon did it far better than Steve McQueen. Come for me.
I saw some trivia that they asked Steve McQueen's son to be in this, who is an actor. I guess something in his contract or something that like, he wanted was like never to be in a film that was associated with his dad, and clearly not as a diss, but like don't make me do my dad's stuff. Like I am a separate entity.
That's
and I was like,
pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I
And
respect that.
Yeah, I guess he also didn't like the script.
How could you not?
Well, fuck him, man.
Yeah. I was on his side until I heard that.
Yeah.
I will say, go out and watch the 1950s version. It's silly. It's a real treat. There's a fun theme song that they created for the end credits about the blob.
Is it like, does it have lyrics about a blob?
Yeah.
Is it like a Will Smith movie where he just raps about the plot?
It's pre-Will Smith.
Okay.
They set up the
okay.
1950s blob set up Will Smith for Wild Wild
Right.
West.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking
Dude,
And I'm
wiki,
blobbing
wiki,
in
wild,
the-
wild.
Down the highway, I'm gonna. I was just thinking more of that steady, like bass line, like bow, bow.
A bow bow.
Ooh, yeah. There we go.
I just have the "What's Happening" theme song in my head, like bow, wow, wow,
Oh,
wow,
okay.
wow, da, 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 na, na, wow, da, na, 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 da, na, 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 na.
Right. Let's edit all that out.
I'm gonna magnify it
Yeah.
by adding some reverb in the
We're just
long.
gonna
That's
play
the new
that
intro music now.
for the entirety of the podcast.
Yeah, just talking
Yeah.
about what's happening.
100%.
Rerun.
We're changing
Rapping
gears
about the
here.
blob.
Raj saving up for his moped.
Okay.
Oh god.
It says it gone too far.
No.
Not gone far enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
oh yeah.
let me ask you this. This opening, we're gonna go into this opening where it shows an overview of this town.
I was about to
that
say
this
small
film is
small
taking
town
place.
USA.
Well, let me ask you this. So this is you see the entire town from like a bird's eye view because it's like kind of swooping in, and I kind of like the introduction. It introduces you to the town itself. It was viciously long, but whatever.
Townsville, USA.
I note that.
Really?
Like, whoa, we got to delve. I was like, I wrote,
Really, really small town.
very
though.
long
Later
opening.
on in the movie, I have questions about their sewer system.
Okay.
The expansively large sewer system for the tiniest town in the United
Like-
States of America.
Right.
Like, I feel like, and that was a sewer system from a much bigger town than what was shown in the
They
intro
built
of this movie.
the small town on top of the ruins of the
Right.
bigger town.
This is my observation anytime we watch a small town movie where they show the entirety of the town. Because this is like, I grew up in a small town. And like, they have a fucking football team.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way that town has enough people for a high school football team.
It's all
And
that town
and
has.
then a bunch of
Maybe.
people attended the football team.
Correct,
Football
yeah.
game.
Maybe
Well, I
it's
mean-
a co-ed team, Mike. You never know.
Yeah, okay.
That was 5 towns.
Yeah, I see.
that was a communal football field.
The 5-town football team.
Yeah, I Jeremy, spot on. I note this like opening crawl, kind of like this small town. I wrote very directly like this opening sequence is off the hook long. Like, oh my god, like it's like 5 minutes and it should be 2, but you really feel the burn because nothing's happening. It's just like, here's the library.
I'll tell you what happened
Well, the
during
town
that
is
opening
empty.
credits.
You
They
think like
credited
the
the
town is
director twice.
decimated. Yeah, but everybody's at the football game.
Everyone's at the
you know?
football game, yeah.
Yeah. It's Friday afternoon. What else you got to do?
It's not Friday. It's like Monday. It's like noon on a Monday.
Tuesday
fine.
morning.
It's a small town.
But it's
Lex.
dark out.
You think these other 4 towns are going to assemble in the night? My God.
That's crazy.
Not on a Friday. On a Monday, maybe. There's nothing on TV on a Monday.
No.
Not in 88 or 87
God,
when this
no.
is filmed.
So boring.
Yeah. Yeah, but very, very long. Then we get, to the football team. Clearly what they're trying to show is this is Americana, like 101, like very small town, very like, I don't know, like prideful people, very happy to see the football game. Everyone assembles for the football game. Everyone's got a lot of like fanfare for like those who are playing. Like we've all seen this a million times. So yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing that we get kind of going on the side that kind of fizzles out and goes nowhere, and I don't mean this is a bad thing because this is almost like a twist of the movie, and I'm leading you here. We get to meet the town sheriff, and the town sheriff successfully is picking up the waitress at the diner. And I mean this, but nothing but compliments. This isn't like some sleazy, like, hey, baby, what's going on? It's like, hey, maybe you want to hang out sometime. And they're both kind of like a little mousy about it. And she's like, yeah, I've got like a kid and stuff. He's like, well, here's my card. Call me if you ever, want to. And then she gives him the tab. And at the bottom's like, I get off at 11. I was like, hell yeah. Like, I'm rooting for the sheriff and this woman at the diner. Like, this is like a cute little pick me up. So.
I will say all of like the kind of like meet cute, ask out moments in this movie, which really there are only like 2.
Yeah.
But both of them are like really cute, kind of wholesome. Like
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, I think that's why when the Blob comes in town, you're like, oh shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, like this guy like worked
Like,
up
no,
the nerve.
Blob.
Yeah.
Like after 50
to
years,
New
this
York,
guy's
Blob.
like, I asked this girl out, and Blob's like, I was waiting for that day.
Well, the sheriff and the waitress do reconnect later.
Ah, it's
In
so
their own-
sad.
Boy,
in their own way.
howdy.
It's so sad. So sad. They do. I mean, they do, and everything's great. They get
Everything's
married
fine.
and-
Happily ever after.
and they live in a blob, on a blob.
Hey, you don't know what it's like living in a blob, all right?
It's true.
That's, yeah.
Could be a new experience.
Could have been having a
They have movie
blast.
theaters in the blob.
Well, while all this is going, of course, we got the old man drifter and his dog in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Like, hey,
Credited as Mike
Can Man?
Can Man.
Yeah.
got to be the can man.
He's got a special metal boot that he uses for crushing cans.
If he's Canadian, we say boot,
Boot.
boot.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to stress your leg out with all the can crushing. You got to have the special
Yeah.
boot.
The special can crushing boot.
It's my favorite boot.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it's the Colorado boot. It's the Denver boot, actually, if they put it on your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you aware of that?
invented
Does everybody have like a metal soled shoe hanging from their tailgate?
No,
in
so also what we do in Denver. So, I mean, were you aware that it is the Denver boot if they put it on your car and like you can't move around that thing that goes like,
it over your wheel.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
don't
like
pay your tickets.
the yellow thing.
yeah, so
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
invented it and it is the Denver boot. But what we also
gotcha.
like to do is every year or two, just dig up the streets and replace pipes so it doesn't matter. So even if the boot's like wreaking havoc on the street, worry not. we're going to dig up all of the streets for some
No,
reason.
whenever they have to do street repair, they put boots in all the cars and then they drive off and
Yeah.
the streets are tore up for them.
Yeah. Win-win.
It's amazing, dude.
It's great.
That's called community engagement.
Yeah.
That's right.
Denver's
We know how
really
to do
at
it in Denver.
Yeah. our streets glisten. If you're ever like, wow, your streets look nice, you're like, well,
They got the sheeny.
Denver
Yeah.
boot.
Yeah. Yeah, during COVID, we repaved Spear twice.
yeah. Probably going to repave it again.
Fucking twice. Yeah.
Why not?
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
You know what's better than paving it once, Paul?
Second
Paving it
time.
twice.
Since COVID, they've paved by Hazel's house and also by my house twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Times.
So sometimes it's got to dig them up. Just like this old man.
Dig up them pipes.
This old man is sitting there with his dog, and all of a sudden a big, massive yellow meteorite comes out, and he's like, "Oh boy!" And he goes and he runs after it. Yeah. And he digs it up.
This
Yeah, and he pokes at it with a
starts
stick.
Yeah.
a reoccurring theme in this movie where everybody sees something strange, hears something strange,
And they investigate.
and they gotta get close. They gotta go touch it. They gotta go check it out.
No, I would have survived this whole thing because as soon as like weird shit started to happen, I'm in the most available car that I can find,
Yeah.
and then I'm out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to a place that has a bigger football team.
I mean, I don't blame the old man for checking out this thing that crash landed to Earth. I probably would have done the same.
I would have looked at it.
You would've
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Paul would have got Blob.
I would not have. When I saw the
No, man.
goo,
Yeah.
I would have been like, nah. Also, I wouldn't have poked anything with a stick.
No.
And especially when I saw the goo move around, extra nah. Like, no.
Oh, look at there's a thing. There's this thing moving around in this meteorite. I'm gonna poke it with a
is
stick.
that?
Let me poke that with a stick.
Fucking USA, baby.
If I were that old man, I would have laid down next to it and
Classic
I
America.
would have
And
betted it.
cuddled it.
I would have
Whispered sweet nothings to it, like it's okay. You're on Earth.
I would have betted that comet or meteorite.
I fully expected people to start putting their fingers in it and rubbing it on their gums.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an intergalactic fleshlight, is
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that's what I figured. And I would have I would have been like the gentlemanly ambassador to Earth. I've been like, let's talk about this.
Please accept my appendage.
I just want to put this out there immediately. I thoroughly enjoyed the goop physics in all of the effects. I enjoyed it so much.
I think they did a great job for an 80
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Mike and I were saying that the effects were dated. You could tell it was an 80s movie, but like they weren't like shockingly bad. I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
bad effects in 80s movies.
There were moments that were shockingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, things I was
agreed.
reading about like the cast, the crew, and stuff like this. I clearly take it always with a grain of salt with some of the trivia that you might see, especially we go to a couple places, but like IMDb often. That I think it might have been the cinematographer. He said that one of the hardest parts of all of this was always keeping the consistency of like how big or small this would be. So I was like, that made a lot of sense. Also, the director was like very gung ho on this has got to be more practical effects. Like I don't want this to be like cartoony or anything. Like thank God, because I feel that holds up a lot more. So yeah, like I totally agree with you guys that. I do think there's a lot. And the key piece of trivia is some of the Blob makes an appearance in Ghostbusters 2 when they're outside of New York.
nice.
Somewhat cool.
That is cool.
Blob.
The Blob effects creator, I was looking him up. He also did some special effects on Little Shop of Horrors
Oh, yeah.
and Return to Oz. So
That's awesome.
He
Okay.
has like a track record of doing like weird, semi-spooky, cultish horror movie type things.
Seems like practical effects too, which
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
I've said this for ages. I think we were all in agreement. Like, as many times as someone might be like, oh my God, look at those 80s cheesy practical effects. I think that's so much better than when you're like, oh my God, look at like what came out in 2002 through 2005 and what they did with computers. Like, it is like embarrassing to go back to some of those movies. It's just like good. It's like you might think it's a little cheesy in the 80s, but like what they were doing in early 2000s sometimes now makes movies like almost unwatchable.
Yeah. hard agree. I love an 80s practical effect.
Yeah, we were all talking like, although mixed bag in reviews on like how we all viewed the newest Beetlejuice, this was like a side text between me, Mike, and Hazel. I'm like, I know Mike was like not the biggest fan of the newest Beetlejuice, and I think Hazel and I were liking it a bit more. But regardless, everyone was like, thank God they used special effects that were like classic and more like the first original Beetlejuice. Or this is just what it looked like shit.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Practical effects.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's make a movie. Okay. Jeremy, practical effects.
Blob stuff.
Yeah.
I'll bring the
Yeah, I'm the practical effects guy.
Yeah.
I just need to raid your kitchen. What's in your kitchen?
What kind of budget am I working
How
with?
much marshmallow fluff do you have?
Do you have flour and eggs?
This mustard is now a plastic explosive. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's get some red JELL-O and try to suffocate your family with it as they sleep, just as a prank.
Yeah.
With the scary... And we'll film it. And those will be the outtakes. Or they'll just make it into the movie.
There were moments in this movie where... he put his name in the opening credits twice, and I cannot remember his name. It's like Chuck...
Something Russell.
Chuck Russell? Good old Chuck Russell. There were like moments where I was like, oh, okay, that was a conscious choice, and I'm kind of into it. When
Chuck Russell's the director.
The can man was getting blobbed in the very beginning, it immediately cut to that little wiener kid sucking up red JELL-O.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like...
Great transition. No, there were a lot... Like, I love the condom kind of gag, like the way that they played out that joke in a 5-minute period. That was cool. I mean, that's good. That, in my opinion, is good writing, which you don't normally find in horror movies. So,
I'd like to shout out to the pharmacy dad that we later see. That is Shawnee or Meg's dad. That is
Eggs dad.
Eggs dad.
Good old Eggs Benedict.
I love Eggs Benedict.
He is Babe Ruth in The Sandlot, and he recently passed, I think, within the last couple of years. He's a very notable kind of like B-side actor. Should look up his name.
He's in Field of Dreams also as a baseball player.
He is. I noted that when we watched him in some other movie. Like, there is another movie where I think I said all of these things on this podcast, Rabbit Troop Sex.
He had a great first line in this movie. May not have been his first one, but that kid doesn't need condoms. He needs a muzzle.
And he does.
Love that.
And they sell that at the pharmacy. Last time I was at the pharmacy, I was like, 3 child-sized muzzles, please.
Art Lafleur.
Yeah. When did he pass?
2021.
Oh, yeah. A few years.
Oh, sick. He was in Cobra?
Yeah, we're going to do Cobra one day.
Yeah, we got to do Cobra.
Promises have been made. Cobra.
Promises have been made.
That's a
Still Sly himself.
That's a sly promise from Rabbit Troop Sex. Old slappy Sly.
This is his favorite episode now.
Yeah, we've been writing.
Is that what this is?
It's all about this. Yeah. Well, the quarterback, or I would assume the quarterback, like the main, footballer is Paul. And Paul and Meg are sort of dating, I guess. Like,
do you know that they went to high school prom together?
Like in real life? Yeah, I saw that. So in real life,
I hope that trivia is true.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It's so cute.
I hope that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul and Meg forever.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Well,
not forever in this movie. Though.
Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, this is kind of where like they don't pull punches in all of this. So like they're kind of dating. They go on a date, and the Blob's trying to get them.
Well, they go on a date and they hit the old man. Man. Old Steelfoot.
They get like 10 feet from her house after he picks her up for their date, and then he hits.
they hit him in the driveway. Like, oh fuck!
Yeah. Oh no,
kids! No, the Blob's coming.
Well, Can Man was doing his can thing, and he got blobbed, and he ran into Kevin Dillon, who was doing motorcycle shit.
Yeah, but then he just runs.
Well, he's trying to jump the gulch to get the
He's trying to jump the gulch.
I forgot about jumping the gulch. So, okay, so 2 things happen. So, Kevin Dillon, Brian, tries to jump a bridge and doesn't, and his motorcycle breaks down and he kind of falls off the side and then goes back to the mechanic shop that he works at and is like, can I borrow a socket set? And the guy's like, I guess. And then it becomes night, and now
That socket set comes in handy.
It does, yeah.
Oh yeah, so now he goes back
Yeah.
and he sees the old drifter. He's like, "I'm an old drifter. Where's my dog? And I got a blob hand." And
Well, he
Kevin
tries
Dillon's
to
like,
cut his hand off with an axe.
Well, you of course
It doesn't work.
And I do that in front of people.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you cut it off with an axe?
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, whatever you want to have happen at work, your subordinates are going to do it right then and there. Like you walk into a room and you're like, like with a chainsaw and you chop off your hand or an axe or whatever. I guarantee you, whatever the task is that you just ordered, it's done. And that was like, you know what I need? I want an extra.
Take me to the hospital.
I want a double espresso with soy latte. And I got it when I woke up at the hospital.
Without a hand.
That's nice.
And they're like, we're never reattaching this arm. So that's right. So yeah, so the old man runs off, and then apparently when Meg is going on a date with Paul, they drive off and see this guy. But also, Paul was involved with some shenanigans where his buddy was buying condoms, and then it turns out the pharmacy owner is like, "Condoms, what's going on? It's so weird." And he's like, "I'm buying them for my friend," and he keeps pointing to Paul. He's like, "Oh yeah," and that's what Hazel noted. Like, "Oh, he doesn't need condoms; he needs a muzzle." Surprise! That's Meg's dad. So when Paul meets him, he's like, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Whoops.
No, he says ribbed, like real deep and husky, like ooh. No, like think about that though. Like if that kid walked in, you're immediately like this guy is going to try to have sex with my daughter tonight, right here.
He's going to soil her cashmere sweater.
Yeah. But he bought the Banaka too, so
Yeah.
she's in for a nice experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you gotta,
Yeah.
You can't all be gentlemen ambassadors like myself.
you gotta sterilize yourself with that banaka.
Like when I met the Blob, I didn't even have Banaka.
No.
I had like I had like an atomic
You had
fireball.
Tanaka.
Yeah, I just like threw it in there. Some Red Hots from Christmas. I was like, there you go. I'm gonna use this for my
Dude, have
gingerbread
you ever
house.
had? You know how they do all this freeze dried candy and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking freeze dried Red Hots are, oh my god, I fell in love with them, dude.
I would eat those.
Freeze dried
I
candy.
did.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what this is?
Yeah, it kind of pops and hardens.
Come
I actually
on,
have had
get the
some.
net.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm the only one here who doesn't have a child. Is this why?
Maybe my
Oh,
jam.
yeah.
My jam is
kids
the
love free
Give
dried
her
shit.
any of that.
my jam is the lemon heads, freeze dried lemon heads. I just love
Ooh,
like
I'd like
lemon heads
that.
to begin with, so I'm like, yeah.
What does freeze drying them do? It just
It like pops
makes them, like,
and like
crunchy.
harden a bit.
like
Yeah, almost
astronaut
like
ice
pops
cream?
them like popcorn. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
like-
Okay.
Look for like freeze-dried Skittles.
Yeah.
Where do you buy these?
Get them anywhere, Mike.
Well,
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Like, name 3 places.
I wish I had a pocket full of freeze-dried Skittles right now that I could throw.
Yeah,
in
the
your face.
airport, Mike. Next time you're in the airport, I guarantee you they'll
Yeah,
have
100%.
freeze dried candy.
So like at the Hudson News or whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The Skittles, I think, are the most popular. So, like, honestly, like Safeway probably sells the freeze-dried Skittles in a small bag.
I want to say Skittles started doing
They're
their
expensive
own,
as hell, though,
version
yeah,
of them.
and then like other candy followed suit, and like then other people were like, "I'll make my own version of them." So I don't know if I've ever had like the real lemon heads, but like a version of lemon heads that were freeze-dried, and it tastes just similar.
Interesting. I'll be on the lookout. I don't go anywhere.
Rabbit Troop
I
Sucks,
guess.
sponsored by freeze dried candy.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Just generic freeze-dried candy.
Yeah,
Also, cool. I'd eat it.
come at us. Any one of them.
Yeah. We'll take your money. I'll
Yeah.
eat your stuff.
Just like the Blob.
Yeah.
Eat your stuff.
We'll eat your stuff.
Yeah.
Freeze dried blob.
I love
That's what the priest takes later.
again how Kevin Dillon, this guy comes up and just starts screaming at him and then tries to chop off his own hand, and then he runs away into the dark woods, and Kevin Dillon
Dillon's
is
like,
like,
"Wait."
hey, wait, come with me, are you okay?
Let me look at. Can I touch it? Can I touch your arm?
They can.
Yeah. Can I lick it?
Well, they find this hobo, and they're like, we got to bring him to the hospital. So they go to the hospital in this small town. And I mean,
It's the worst hospital.
good God, Mike, I could not agree more.
It's amazing.
Like,
yeah.
it's like
What is this hospital curing? Like
Nothing.
maybe
Yeah.
like stitching something up?
Listen,
this
they
is,
put a
My knee hurts.
blanket over him.
yeah, this is the midway point for real people to pick you up and take you to the other hospital. So yeah, basically it's a darkened corridor where one random guy from Twin Peaks is a doctor, and he's talking to someone random. There is a receptionist nurse of some sorts, also kind of in a darkened room. she doesn't have time to talk to you or anyone. She's not doing anything.
This old man's arm is hanging off.
Yeah, they're like, oh my
She's
God.
Can you
I
just
would have
fucking
been
wait?
like, I'm leaving this man here, and then I'm going on the date with this hot broad right
So-
here. Right, I'm not filling out paperwork.
She needs
I'm
you
just
to fill
dropping them
out
off,
paperwork.
okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what Kevin Dillon did. He's
well,
like, hey, this is cool.
yeah.
I'm out.
Well, we haven't said. So he rolls up so Brian sees this. So now all three of these teens are at like this hospital with this old man. So 3 teens and like some drifter, and yeah, Mike's right. Brian's like, screw this, I'm leaving, and Meg is like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, like I don't know this
fuck are we
guy.
gonna
I'm like,
do?
well, yeah, exactly. And so he leaves, which is totally the right thing to do, because the funniest transition is then they're shown like bogged down with like 50 pages of paperwork that they're filling out.
Yeah, what are they filling
I
out? They don't
agree.
even know the man's name.
Like Sean Doe, age question mark, severe weird burn goo. Like I don't know, like what is going on? Yeah,
And like they make it seem like they've been sitting there filling it out for a while for a man that they don't know.
that seems accurate.
Yeah.
It seems like that is exactly what was happening.
They only have one detail about this man, and that's that he has some weird goop on his hand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's gross, and I don't like
An
it.
old man with a funky
It's his
hand.
funky hand. I wrote that
masturbation
down.
hand, man.
Yeah, I was telling Mike that there's in an Office episode, Michael Scott has to bring Dwight, and John Krasinski looks over at the paperwork, and like Michael's filling it out, and it's like, reason for coming is like dropping off, like, injured. He's like, are you filling out why you're here or why he's here? He's like, and then Michael just crosses everything out. Yeah, like this hospital is bonkers, because then all of a sudden she's like, Steven, get a wheelchair and roll him into a room. And he's like, okay. Like some random orderly shows up. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So yeah, then we wheel past Eagle Eye Mike got a guy from Twin Peaks. He's like, is that the guy from Twin Peaks? It is. He's consulting someone
He's like
about
having a drink with someone in a room.
He's like, you can't live through all of them, and we tried. I'm like, are you giving a consultation at midnight in a dark room? Like, what's happening? Then for a little bit, Paul's just sitting around. So Paul's hanging around. I don't remember what Meg's doing. She's just like in the waiting room or
They're
something.
sitting in silence
Paul
next to
gets
each other.
bored, and
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna go check on this old man.
And as he does, the old man's like twitching. He's got like a milky eye, like everything's weird. And he's like, oh shit, man. So he tells the doctor, and the doctor's like, come on, calm down. And then I love the doctor walks in. He's like, whoa, this is the guy that had something on his hand? Because like this guy's like smoking. There's like smoke coming out. And then they pull back like this blanket, and like the guy doesn't even have a torso anymore. And the doctor's
melted away.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
doctor's like, nurse, like calling the nurse on the phone. I would have immediately been out of that room. Doctor or no doctor. That doctor's never seen anything like that. He wasn't trained.
Yeah, I would have
prepared.
ran, and I would not have stopped running.
Paul would have turned around, and there would have been like a smoke outline of the shape
Yes.
of my body.
Yeah.
And I'd be like reading a magazine on a plane. I'm not hanging out for
Right.
any of that.
I would have been on the cell phone with the doctor. Like, so I'm not in the state anymore. How's it going? How'd you get there so fast? I left. I got out here quickly.
I left immediately.
Yeah, I don't really know what happens to the doctor after this, because he's like, oh my God. Now, Paul, on the other hand, goes to another room, and he immediately...
He goes to the doctor's office.
Yeah, he just immediately gets blobbed.
Yeah.
Like, he's calling the sheriff. He's like, Sheriff, this is like, football player Paul. And he's like, oh my God, Jock Paul, what's going on? And he's like, Blob, and people are dead. He's like, that's craziness. And then acid is like dripping from the ceiling. Because anything this blob touches is like dissolving it. And he looks up, and he has like a millisecond to maybe back out. He is not. Like that blob drops. He is dead. Meg walks in, and this is like the cover that you often see of this film. And this is like, for when I was a kid, this movie scared the shit out of me for this. He is like suffocating, but also melting within this thing.
that scene
And he's like
sold me.
sprawled.
I
It
was
looked
like,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're like, damn, Paul, like it's over. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
My
It
Paul's
did
dead.
make me sad, like how little everyone in this town had any sort of survival instincts.
Yeah.
Like if
None.
I wouldn't even have to see a blob if I saw
Yeah, I would be like, this town
a
is too
half
small. I'm
dissolved
getting out of here.
man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to another room and call the police. I would go 6 counties over.
No! I have this in my notes, Hazel. Yeah, why would you that would be like, you see somebody get murdered, and you like turn around and you like grab a rotary fucking phone and you're
Hold
like, all
on
right,
real
I'm gonna
quick.
call the fucking police.
It's so you can narrate in real time. Yes, he is being dissolved.
Yes.
He's calling out for me. I'm not going to help him. No. No, he's pretty dead now.
Yeah.
I took his wallet.
I think he took that as well. Yeah, everyone tries to.
Maybe that's why the Blob is killing everybody. He's just like
Pickpocket?
a fucking
Yeah.
hobo pickpocket.
Well, that's what the other jock guy does. He's like the thief and date rape guy.
If you watch after, that guy sucks.
Yeah,
That guy-
And we're about to get to that
He
guy in a
has a
second.
full bar in his trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to get to that
With
in a
strawberries.
second.
fresh strawberry.
But what you don't see is at the end of the movie, after the credits roll, the Blob actually rolls up and he has accrued all that money and he's just buying scratch-off lottery tickets.
He's wearing all those rings.
100%.
Yeah.
All those little.
That's the end
goopy
credits.
Yes.
Well, yeah, another jock that we saw talking to Paul earlier, he is also on a date.
He's the one who was actually buying the condoms.
Correct.
And the banana.
Yeah.
And he has a date who is clearly incapacitated in his passenger seat.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, baby, I'll be back. He goes to the trunk of his car, which has a full-blown bar. Like cups, mixers, olives, full
He
cups,
has a
strawberries.
fucking blender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's ready.
Like a cigar box full of class rings.
It
that
also
was
seemed to have its own lighting. Like it,
It had its own
mood
lighting. Yeah.
I mean, I joked, can you imagine getting pulled over in this car? Like for any reason they pop your trunk.
Yeah,
like,
can I check the trunk? I'd rather you didn't, officer.
Well, all the cops in the town seem to be laser focused on the one guy that rides a motorcycle
That's
and has
true.
long hair.
The one who's not doing anything
He's the
wrong.
one source
The
of
greaser.
crime.
the guy's only crime is he almost killed himself at the gorge.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just that shirt was the real crime.
Yeah,
That cop
that pirate
felt-
shirt.
The pirate shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pirate shirt is rough. Yeah, so we get this real douchebag. This is like, for me, the grossest scene because he's like feeling up his date. She's clearly like passed out. I was hoping the whole time, like for once, the Blob would exact justice. I was hoping it was going right for his junk. Like it was going to dissolve this dude's junk first, then slowly kill him. You're lucky. You're lucky, Jock.
Well, I mean, as he was groping his clearly passed out date.
I actually made a joke about this.
You did, and
So
you were right.
Yeah, so Hazel's like, you could only see like half of the date's face, and Hazel's like, I bet the other half is like burnt off and it's gonna come from there. And I was like, if it doesn't, I hope it comes from like her bra, because he was, while very gross, while she's passed out, he's like one by one like, oops, I unbuttoned this, let me check out this. And then as he's like opening more of the bra in her shirt, pops right out and gets him. I'm like, eat it, sucker. But yeah,
It was very satisfying.
yeah, I was just
to
hoping
watch
he
him
was
get
gonna
blobbed.
I was just hoping he was gonna get junk dissolved first.
Yeah.
It also made me really happy that he was like, "Oh, Nancy, no, why?" Like she was doing it.
Yeah. Nancy, stop.
Nancy was laughing the whole time.
Your tendrils, Nancy.
I don't remember you having those.
Nanstrels.
Nancy.
Yeah, well that guy
Tendies.
that guy's super dead.
Yeah, he is quite dead. Presumably, we never see him again.
Yeah, so then this is what we got going on. Brian is now detained by the police. And they're like, this other drifter is just a big punk. And long story short, because this scene's kind of dumb, the sheriff's just like, let him go. And the deputy's like, oh my God, but this guy, he's like, listen, he doesn't have any blood on him. He has no motive. This guy like saw this other guy once, like just let him go.
Like, how do you think this teenage boy melted 3 people?
Right.
It's to
Yeah.
establish the sexual tension between the teenage boy and the deputy.
The one he licks
That's
in the
small
face.
town police work.
There
though.
is a
Yeah,
lick.
it's like
There is a
psychos.
lick moment where the deputy gets in close to Brian's face and he licks him. Bold move.
Yeah.
Bold move.
Wouldn't that technically be
Assault.
assaulting a police officer?
He's like, gotcha, boy.
I think since the sheriff was pretty moral, like what the vibe I was picking up is, yeah, that's how the deputy would have handled all of this. But the sheriff's like, oh my God, we're getting so many lawsuits. Like this guy,
Just like put him.
just get him out of here. Just all of you, shut up. You're all going to jail.
You boys quit licking each other. You get out of here. Turn him loose.
I'll lick all of you. So Brian, of course, is hungry. He's like, I got to get out of here and get a sandwich. So he was walking down the street and Meg rolls up and he's like, what are you doing here? She's like, I was going to bail you out. He's like, that's nice. But I
With
need
a
to
credit card.
yeah, but I need to get a sandwich. So they go back to the diner.
Yeah.
And that gets the sheriff thinking. He's like, man, she gets off at 11. I'm going to go see her. And I'm going to say it like this. This is alive. the last time we really see the sheriff, and this kind of sucks. I was like, one of the few people like actively liked in this movie because he's really going off like a moral compass, and I like that he like successfully is going on this date because he seems like a nice dude. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go see her soon. So
He might still be kind of alive when we see him last.
yeah.
There's a spark.
If he just like winked.
A little breath in him. A little blob breath. Makes a little bubble. It's called the last wish bubble. You wish for it, but it doesn't happen. That's the blob.
It is.
So yeah, you know, this guy's going to get a Sammy, and Meg is like, no one believes me. I saw Paul get dissolved. He's like, yeah, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat this. And then the blob basically comes in because all of a sudden the drains aren't working, and the waitress is like, oh my god, like this isn't working, and the dishwasher's like, let me try to plunge it out.
Hey.
What if I stuck my hand down?
Let me check this out.
Not a good idea.
Put my hand down there.
Yeah, he gets super blobbed. He gets blobbed to the ceiling. He gets super dissolved. He's like, no.
I also made a joke where I was like, oh man, imagine they come back out and his legs are just sticking out of the sink. And then that's exactly
And
what happened.
they were. Yeah, this guy gets off pretty brutally.
Yeah, that would.
And then what does the waitress do, Paul? She just runs around the corner of the room and like tries to make a phone call.
Yeah, well, okay, so two things happen. So now
Nobody
they're
puts any distance between themselves
No.
and this horrible creature.
yeah, she
Like this town is the only place with phones.
she freaks and is like, oh my god. And then Brian and Meg run in, and the blob's there, and now they divide. Brian and Meg run into the freezer, kind of just because they're trapped. And as that happens, the blob doesn't really like going in. We could see the blob's like, no, cold, that's not good, and kind of backs up. And we're all like, where the hell's the waitress? And then we do see eventually a cutscene where she's like busting through a window.
I was really rooting for
Yeah,
her too.
yeah,
She
yeah.
broke a window to escape the diner.
I kind of want to give you a step-by-step of Hazel's reactions because Hazel called it. She's like, where's the waitress?
They just barricaded themselves into this freezer.
Yeah, because like these other
Without
people.
the waitress that helped them and was nice to them.
Yeah, they're like, are you like screwing this woman over? Like, what's going on? And so immediately it cuts over, and Hazel's like, hell yeah. The waitress like pops out of this window. She's like, she's got some street smarts. She's doing this, and we're all like, yeah, they're like, way to go. And she literally walks 5 feet to a payphone, and she's like, yeah, it's not working.
The second she went into
And
the
that
payphone
becomes
and
her
shut the
tune.
door, I was like, oh man.
That's not gonna.
Just go a little bit farther.
Yeah.
This is the scene that I remember the most, seeing as a kid. So she's trying to call, it's not working. There's no like outside line. She's like, oh my god. As we, the viewers, are watching this, she's trying to call, and you're like, oh my god, just leave. But the blob is kind of covering one side of the booth. It's like over the top and like the back side, and slowly and then very quickly it starts covering the whole thing, and she realizes it, and she's like, oh my god. And this is like I really feel this is a really well thought out and filmed scene.
Yeah.
So she's frantically like going through like anything in her pockets, and she gets the sheriff's card, and she looks at it, and she does get like an outside line. She's like frantically putting in the quarter or whatever it costs to make the phone call in 88. She's like, oh my god. And it gets through, and she sees the sheriff's card like, I could get through. I'm going to call him. He might be able to help. And as soon as like you kind of realize that as an audience member, like she's going to try to contact the sheriff, you just see his dead body float upside that phone booth. And that is like chilling for me.
Well, she gets through to the police station,
Yeah.
and the woman's like, "Oh yeah, the sheriff went to the diner."
He went to the diner.
Yeah.
and then boom.
Yeah,
he's
like
there.
he's dead, and he like
He sure did go to
and
the
he,
diner.
Yeah, and he is like floating upwards, and you could just kind of tell. Even her reaction is, "It's over."
Yeah,
like,
this sucks.
yeah,
Done
so
for.
That is when it comes in all at once, and you just see it like come up and like envelop her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they filmed that with like practical effects, but that was cool.
It
Yeah.
looked very violent.
Yeah. And that's another like bit of like the practical effects in this movie with the goo that I was really impressed with.
So when basically now, like when this waitress dies, we go back to Brian and Meg, and they do escape from their little cooler. They're like, I don't know, do you hear anything? They're like, no.
And fucking Brian has a meat hook as a weapon. Like that's going to do anything to this blob. In fact, I have a lot of questions about the blob at the end when the military shows up.
Like what his name is? John Howard Blob.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I
John
would have
Jacob
had the
Jingleheimer
Howard
Blob.
Yeah, does this guy have a social security number?
He does.
Everybody kept, I mean, there kept being like, so, I mean, like, I would love to say that I could have put it together when it was like, oh, it doesn't like cold. But also, like, that also doesn't mean I would pick up a meat hook. Be like, yeah, this'll show it.
I feel like I would have wanted something
I would
in
have
my
wanted
hand.
It looked
I would have
cool. I'll
wanted
give
like
him
a
that.
car that I could get out of town with.
Right.
That's what I would have. And I would have had one long before the diner.
Yeah.
Well, when Brian and Meg escape, they go to the sheriff's or they go to the police station and they start inquiring, like, where is this guy? And the woman's like, I don't know, I can't find him. And she directs them back to the woods. And they're like, okay, and so Brian's like, okay, that's where my bike broke down. That's where I saw this weird drifter. We're going to go back there. And they do go back there, and I'm just going to jump like right into it. At first, it looks like they discovered a UFO. Like, you don't really know what's happening. Like, there's all these bright lights, things are blinking, and like as an audience member, you're like, what the hell? It looks like an X-Files episode. All these people come out in hazmat suits. They have weird lights in their hazmat suits. Very bizarre. But they come out, and it's basically a group of scientists, kind of. So we have
guns.
Yeah, so we have some questions, like, as we were watching it.
Gun scientists.
Yeah, so we're under the impression at least a core group of these members are scientists, not just the one guy, not just like the doctor. And then there are questionably other people who may be scientists, but are also holding like M16s.
No, those are military. They gotta be.
Okay, but at least there's like more than one scientist. These
Yes.
scientists do not seem to know how to stop this. And we're going to get to the twist here in a moment.
Oh,
so
they know
let's-
how to stop it,
Well-
Paul, with fucking clear, transparent tents.
Nice.
That's how you stop it, buddy.
So, although I'm jumping the gun a little bit, we do find out very quickly that this blob is man-made and that meteorite is actually just military gear that was purposefully sent there, and this is now like a biological experiment. And they're using this as, biological weapons.
Right.
And so they're testing it out.
So walk me through this process, just because I have some questions.
Yeah, me too, man.
So we find out that it was a U.S. satellite that crashed and the blob came out of it. So they sent the satellite into space with some kind of chemical weapon on it.
Yes.
Why?
I think this is
Science?
No.
I was assuming that the military knew that like the blob can't handle cold, so they're like, we'll put this thing into space where it's very, very cold.
Well, okay. So what I gathered from this is, to answer Mike's question, is they purposefully did this.
Right.
They sent this biological material
But why?
To
because
see the effects
Yes.
of space.
because then they were eventually like, now we're like, if this works, we'll send it to like other countries to decimate it and like take control. Like,
We'll send it to the Russian space
Yeah,
station.
So the scientific process here was we made a chemical weapon.
yes.
Maybe if we send it to space, it'll come to life.
My thought was they wanted it to land on Earth to see what the effects were.
I see.
Because when it landed, one of the guys was like, whoa, this is bigger than what we thought. This is a little more out of control than what we thought. And the head
Also-
scientist is like, shit.
Why did they I feel like they knew that this thing, what it was when it came down. Why did they show up with like guns? And
Okay.
explosives
So let me,
when none of that
now let me
works on it?
backtrack. So to answer Mike's question is, I think this was supposed to be a somewhat, I'm going to put in quotes, controlled experiment that has gone off the hook. Then the back end seems, and this is my question, that the scientists have no idea what this is or how to stop it at any point in time. So
Yeah.
what the hell? I agree, Jeremy. Like guns, like they should be the first ones to be like, guns aren't going to stop this.
That was I have so many favorite parts of this, but one of my actual favorite parts was when they were like, let's fire all these guns into this manhole, and then we're going to throw some grenades down into this manhole. And that guy, who could have been a scientist, I don't know, he was like, got it.
I feel that guy had more gumption than the guns.
I
Like
mean,
when
the
he's,
choke on that slime ball.
Yeah,
guy?
yes, amazing.
so let's get there. Let's slowly walk there. So we meet these scientists who don't know shit. Cool. What is the doctor's name?
McGillicuddy.
How dare you?
MacGuffin.
Morris Fishbein.
Dr. Meddows.
Dr. Meddows.
That's what we said.
Yeah.
I knew it was an M.
Yeah. I mean, we last saw that guy in Silverado. So yeah. So that guy's like, listen, all of these things have happened. So what he says to Brian and Meg, he's like, listen, this is like kind of like a military thing. We've got this under control. Just get into his van. We're going to bring you back to the city and everything's going to be cool. And Brian's like, I don't really like that or authority. And they're like, that's cool. You're now going to get in by force. Meg's along with the ride the whole time. She's like, dude, just shut up and get in.
Get in the goddamn van.
He takes out like a socket ratchet or some part of that ratchet set. I'm sorry, that socket set. And he basically opens the back door of this van and jumps out. He's like, I'm going to get my bike and drive off. And she's like, okay, bye. Stays in the van.
I'd really like to know how he opened that with a ratchet set.
No one knows. He's that good. He's that good.
He's that good with a ratchet set.
If he had taken the whole door off, I could maybe understand that with like bolts and whatnot. But he like fucking unlocked the door with a ratchet set.
Correct.
He'd pick the lock with the ratchet set.
So if you were playing Dungeons and Dragons, Jeremy, you'd have like a 19 out of 20 in this ability. So it didn't matter what you had. It could have been a stick, a rock.
Right.
Yeah, he rolled well enough that his bouquet of flowers helped him unlock that door.
Well, it's like a Doctor Who sonic screwdriver. It does whatever.
Whatever you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's out and he goes to get his bike. So now two stories are forming, like it's Meg's story and his. So he goes back and
I thought you were going to say it's two love stories between him and Meg and between him and his bike.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's not. His bike sucks.
Yeah. Lets him down constantly.
Yeah, and he hides behind it. That's a good thing that Mike noticed. So he goes to the woods and the scientists are all around. And Mike's like, is he hiding behind his bike? And I'm like, he is. And they're like, can't see him. No one's here. So they're going through. He gets his bike. And then this is when he overhears Dr. Meddows like announcing. He's like, oh, this is all a lie. We're going to kill everyone in town. This is a big experiment. Like he is announcing this like free as could be.
Yeah, and like his whole team is like, yeah, we kind of have questions about that. That doesn't seem very good. He's like, you know what? This is on me.
He's like, last time people had questions, I send them away in a van. Do you want to be next? And he's like, and you don't have a socket wrench. So they spill the beans on everything, and Brian tries to escape and makes, causes everyone to see what he's doing. So now a helicopter and like military grade vans and vehicles are after him.
Mm-hmm. Immediately.
Yeah.
Every available vehicle is on this kid so hard.
But you know what fucking Brian's gonna do?
He's gonna jump the gorge.
Jump that goddamn gulch.
Yeah.
He jumps it.
And then when he gets to the other side, he becomes Johnny Danger.
Well, Hazel and Mike note that somehow that also stops the helicopter. That helicopter can no longer travel across the gorge.
Yeah.
The helicopter pilot was like, damn.
Oh, they got us.
Give it to him, Jimmy. So they fly off. And he goes back to town while Meg gets back to town. I also love, she gets out of the van. No one questions that there was supposed to be another person in the van. She just gets off and like some guy in a hazmat suit's like this way. And she immediately sees her mom and dad. She's like, Mom, Dad, yay. And it's Blob aplenty at this point in time. Everyone's like, oh shit, like Blob's coming.
I really have questions about so they have set up camp, like command posts all over this town. Mm-hmm. And this is like a secretive thing. Like they don't want people to know what they're doing. Their whole fucking command center is like in clear plastic tents. Like everybody can see what you're doing. They can see the fucking computer screens through it.
They're just telling them that it's a biological weapon.
There's no other fucking solution. But
Jeremy, they tried. Tents. They exhausted all
other options.
They tried nothing, and they're all out of ideas.
Jeremy, I noted one of my favorite parts to make them more of a spectacle. In their hazmat suit, they have a blue light right above their face, so you could always see their face, like plain as day.
Well, yeah, and these guys are wearing hazmat suits. I'm assuming to maybe fool the town, but the hazmat suits do nothing for the Blob in terms of protecting them from the Blob.
The one guy has 6 grenades on the front of his hazmat suit.
There's a motherfucker in the sewers with a goddamn bazooka on his back.
Yeah, sure is. A collapsible bazooka. That's going to come in handy really quick. So, yeah, I mean, one of my other favorite parts is they go to the hazmat suit guys go into a hazmat suit tent and immediately start taking off their masks. I was like, oh my God.
Every time they take off their hazmat mask, there's a little
What we didn't say, and I'm just going to summarize the hell out of this, is Meg does have a brother who snuck off to go see like basically an R-rated horror movie
with his little bitch ass friend.
Yeah, with one of his friends, because his friend, he's like, oh his brother is an usher, so he could get him in. So Meg's little brother and his friend are currently at the movie theater, and the Blob is taking over. The Blob is now like ripping people in half, and the Blob then is going to go to the city.
Bedlam.
But yeah, so she gets to the movie theater. She's able to sneak off because she gets into town, and Dad is like, what the hell are you people doing? And the guy's like, stand back, sir. And she's able to sneak off, go to the movie theater. While the Blob is attacking, she is able to get her brother and her friend out. They run basically in the back of the movie theater. They're cornered, and she's like, we're going to go down the sewer. Like a bunch of Ninja Turtles, they go down the sewer, and the Blob keeps going after them. While in the sewer, there are a bunch of cybros out there, and they're trying to like shoot this Blob and various other things. This is a crazy, brutal scene. So they get to basically like this huge sewer room, and there's kind of a gate to get out of. We all agree Meg is small enough to get out of this freaking thing, but she's like, I can't make it. She does get her little brother out this little like kind of sewer gate, and then really quickly, the brother's friend is like snatched by the Blob. I have to highlight, I think Meg is like the real hero of this entire effing movie. She dives back to go fight the Blob to get her brother's friend back.
I would not have done that.
I know. I don't think anyone would, like, including myself.
That kid's
None of us would
parents
have been
wouldn't have
in
gone
the
in there.
fucking sewer in the first place.
So I'm like, oh my God. And then you think for a second, successfully gets him, and this kid is goo-blobbed every which way. Like
yeah, he is melted.
they do not pull punches. Like this kid is like, yeah, just dissolved. And she's like, oh shit. And she can't get out the gate. Luckily, the cybros pop in and start shooting the Blob. She takes a side route. Her brother's out, and Brian shows up. He's like, come there.
Who's riding his motorcycle through the sewer presently.
Right. So all of the other science people are taken out except for one guy, a key guy, because Jeremy notes, because now the doctor's like, we're going to basically keep you in the sewer, and we're going to trap you in this thing in there, even though there's time to get them out.
Yeah, there's no time to let you out.
Yeah, the doctor's like,
A
So
sewer
much
that has
time.
like 40-foot tall ceilings and sits under a town of maybe 1,000 people.
right.
Correct.
They have all the time in the world.
All of the sewer systems are human and motorcycle sized.
Yeah, even the science guys are like, oh, one of my men's down there. They're like, yeah, whoops.
Yeah, it sucks to suck.
So not only do they like make sure they
Sorry.
can't go out, they park the van on top of the sewer manhole cover.
Which was a real bitch move.
There
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Yeah, and so now they can't get out. So Brian is motorcycling him and Meg around the sewer. They eventually find the one science guy left. He's like, oh my God, this guy's freaking out. Luckily, he has a collapsible bazooka, and Brian just shoots it like up the corridor. It blows up the van, it blows up everything, and then they just climb out. Everything's okay.
Yeah. In the writer's room, were they like, how are they going to get out of this? And some guy's just like, I don't know, give this guy a bazooka. Or
Bazooka?
something.
Yeah.
All right, we'll write that in.
Yeah, and even though the sewer was on fire just a second ago, they're just climbing out, like, no metal's hot, everything's okay. The van's like exploded, like, but that's all okay. The Blob is just going bananas. It's going ape shit crazy on everyone. I like how angry the Blob is at this point in time. So angry.
I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, these guys keep fucking with him.
It's just-
He's just trying to eat.
Just trying to eat faces.
He's hungry.
Melt faces like a rock star.
He's hangry. He needs a
Hangry.
Snickers.
Yeah.
You're not
I did
yourself
like
when
I
you're
like the
hungry.
Mexican standoff between the main scientists and
The citizens.
Yeah, well,
The Denzians?
the Denzians.
and the doofy deputy that got his face licked earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like this scene because, like, so Kevin Dillon has a gun, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Cybros have guns, and Deputy Dipshit has a gun. And they're all pointing it at Kevin Dillon. He's like, this fucking sucks. You guys are wrong. And the deputy's like, actually, wait a minute. Why
Yeah.
are you guys pointing a gun at this guy? Like, he's my guy.
Yeah. Only I could point a gun at him.
Yeah. He licked my face earlier. We have a bond now.
Yeah, so
Arguably, the deputy has the smallest gun out of everyone.
Correct.
and so the Blob comes out and they all shoot it, and the
Yeah.
Blob does not like that and basically kills all these people.
Yeah. It does. But Kevin Dillon remembers how to kill the blob. He doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah,
but
so
he knows.
He just leaves quietly.
He just fucking pieces out.
So I have
Meg's
in my-
figuring it out.
Well,
While he knows.
right, yeah, she's piecing it together.
In my notes, I have at the very beginning, I'm like, what the fuck is Think Snow avalanche shooters? And I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that means.
It's a
Why did they show
snowblower.
that?
It's a snowmaker,
And now
yeah.
it comes it comes into play.
Chekhov's snowblower.
Well, it's a ski town.
Yeah.
Yeah, all filmed in Louisiana.
In Louisiana, apparently.
Yeah. The biggest ski town you can fucking find.
Ski Town, USA.
I think it was supposed to be California because they mentioned Sacramento.
Sacramento
California.
at some point.
Yeah, well, the blob is huge now. Huge and angry.
Oh, yeah.
Real big, smushing people, blobbing people.
Yeah, and so although Brian does remember this, he is in that truck with that, below snow, and he's like, yeah, I've got this plan, and just rams it into the blob and flips right over. Now the blob is like giving it like a death hug, like the truck itself, and it's going to explode this, but Meg is like, maybe I could get him out, maybe I can't, but she sees like part of the coolant is coming out and like freezing this a little bit, and she's like, oh yeah, that night we spent in the cooler that was so romantic. That's when I fell in love with him and learned a little bit about the blob itself.
30 minutes ago.
It was at least 18 minutes ago. So she comes up with a plan. She grabs a bunch of guns and just shoots it. She clearly knows that is not going to damage it. So she's like the only smart person to be like, although I'm using a gun, I'm using it as a distraction piece because I know it will not damage the blob. I'm like, I could respect that. But Kevin Dillon, yes, he is able to sneak out. Brian's able to get out, and they're able to blow up this truck. Do this like shoot the side? I don't really remember.
She
She has like one of the C4.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Bomb
right.
set,
That's
yeah.
right. I forgot because I was like, I don't think she does it with a gun.
Let me ask you this. When she's figuring out that it's the cold, she's using a fire extinguisher. Am I like a
On
moron?
the Reverend's face, yeah.
But are fire
'Cause you got Blob.
extinguishers just not cold? It's just like a chemical, right? It's not like blowing
Well,
cool
when
things
it's-
at you.
When it's first discharged, it's like CO2 that's firing out
Is
of
it?
it.
Okay, so it's
gets
like when
real
you hold a
cold, yeah.
dust, like a computer duster
Yeah.
upside down.
But
Okay.
all serious science questions aside, let me ask you a question. So yes, so the priest, we see this priest back and forth, and I guess he's the end of the movie, so we should like actually talk about this. This guy's like floating around town, just as like a D-side character, and he's like, "Oh my god, like the end is nigh," and she's like, "No, we got to run," and he gets kind of blobbed in the face, but she uses a fire extinguisher. So Mike has his question answered. But she finds the fire extinguisher conveniently next to a tree right by him. Like literally,
Yeah.
there is
Well,
like
if that tree catches fire, how are you going to put it out, Paul?
That's
well, I
true.
don't
You
know.
don't want that.
It's the town tree.
Where does your town keep its fire extinguishers?
You've got to keep the town tree alive. Only the town
That's
tree.
where the town cranberry comes from.
Damn right. Sooner or later, everyone becomes the town cranberry.
Well, all of these military guys keep trying to do things that aren't working. They keep trying to shoot it, and one guy goes up to it with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And the blob basically
He kind of liked it, I
he
think.
puts its little finger in the tip
Yeah.
of the
That was
flamethrower.
great.
And then went
Yeah, it was like Bugs Bunny
Yeah.
foiling Elmer Fudd.
But admittedly, the guy with the flamethrower at least made sense to me. Like that might work. Like
it was something new to try.
Yeah,
They're
it's like-
trying different things.
Like the guns aren't working, but maybe if I just like put this whole thing on fire, I'm like, I'm following
Yeah.
your logic. I'm
We'll
like,
give
it
it a
doesn't
whirl.
work. But yeah, you never expected it. Just cold. The illusions. It's gonna be a ski town. Ski stuff, 40 to 50% off. It's all in the windows. Pre-ski sale. Come on, Blob. This isn't the town for you. You got to go to a nice warm place, not some ski town. So yeah, they use this like basically like bomb mine. It explodes, and so does the Blob, and it explodes into all these crystal pieces. Earlier, a piece of the blob exploded, and the priest kept a little piece in the jar. And the priest is not dead. Meg did save his life. But the movie essentially, for this story in this town at least, is over. That the blob is dead, everything is crystallized. There may or may not be a military presence. I would assume there's some military
No, they're
people.
keeping the fucking blob in like a freezer
they
somewhere.
were like,
Yeah.
we
They
gotta
collected
get
it
this
all.
thing over to the cool
Yeah.
locker
Yeah.
before morning
Right.
comes.
Well, because it's established that the little crystal that the priest has melts and
Yes.
becomes a blob again.
Becomes a
So
little blob.
presumably
It's a
those
little pet
scientists
blob.
were like, "Fuck, sweep this thing up quick."
Yeah.
You know how much a pet blob is, Paul? It's a designer pet.
$20
All right.
bucks. $20 bucks.
$20.
20 bucks.
So yeah, basically
It's an
this
amazing
town
car.
story is over. Like they're like, collect all these pieces, these shards, get it on ice or get rid of it.
Also,
figure it out.
kill everyone so no one can tell you about this.
Yeah, but it seems like the military is now outnumbered. So very questionable. But it seems like Meg and Brian, love story, full blossom, like the show Blossom with Joy Lawrence. Whoa. So there we go.
They embrace forcefully.
They do embrace forcefully. And that's like a card I want to write for homework.
Each of their hair extensions get entwined.
Oh, his fucking extensions.
Both of their extensions were so bad.
He was like Lord Farquaad with that goddamn hair.
Yeah, we found out in trivia that he was wearing, Kevin Dillon was wearing hair extensions against his will. He didn't like it, but the director, Chuck Russell, was like, this is how I want you to look.
Look, motherfucker, I'm Chuck motherfucking Russell.
Well, the story is not done. We now see that there's kind of this like pop tent church that has popped up. It's being led by the priest. He's giving some kind of sermon. Now we're kind of backstage. This older woman's like, when's like Revelation's gonna come? Like, when's the end? He's like, soon. And he like takes off his glasses. You can see half his face is burned. And he looks at his jar that he had that little shard with, but that blob is moving. Woo, credits roll. Before we get into our final overviews and thoughts about The Blob, the remake 1988, as always, feel free to reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any inquiries on film, if you have thoughts about film, you want to contact us in any shape or form, email's the best, so rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. We're on all forms, I shouldn't say all forms, but I would assume all the forms of podcasting. So any platform you could think of, I like to go on my podcast app on my iPhone. You could go on to Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you think there are areas to listen to a podcast.
Are we on Grindr yet?
Yeah, we've been on Grindr since day one. We are on social media. We are on Facebook and we are on Instagram. And as always, you could go to our website proper, which is rabbittroopsucks.com, where we have links to merchandise, some of our episodes, pictures of us, various other things. And as always, wherever you're at, please feel free to leave us a 5 out of 5 star review for our ad-free podcast that we give you every week. We love that you reach out to us. Please show us a little love. Give us some of those likes, because hopefully other people will listen as well. Jeremy, what are you thinking of in The Blob, 1988?
Yeah, I like this movie. It's enjoyable. It's fun. The practical effects are good. I think the writing's really good. For the most part. I mean, obviously there are certain plot holes and like ridiculous things that happen, but this is also an hour-and-a-half horror film, so I can forgive all of that because this movie's entertaining from pretty much after the credits roll to the end of it. Yeah, I think it's a great movie. The acting's fine. The writing's good. Directing's good. There's some comedic elements to it. If you haven't seen this, you should definitely see it. It's probably one of the better horror films from the 80s.
Awesome. Hazel, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm on board 100%. I think this is a fun horror movie. There are some parts that genuinely spooked me, even rewatching it as an adult. There were parts that made me giggle, and it really, like, I was even looking for flaws, and even the flaws that I found were like cute enough or entertaining enough. They like comprised an entertaining enough movie.
They didn't detract from
like
the
it was
overall film,
it was a solidly fun watch, and I felt like everybody was like really giving it their all. As far as like 80s horror goes, this is pretty good. And yeah, like some parts of it are silly, but the silly parts just were so enjoyable. I'd give this a second watch anytime.
And Hazel wanted me to note that the director also did Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. So also more 80s horror. And that would be a movie I'd definitely cover for this.
The vibe of these two movies, like, are very much
I totally agree, especially Hazel, you noting kind of there's like comedic elements sometimes.
Yeah.
And in Dream Warriors, there's absolutely some like in the know jokes, but then it's like I'm also being offed by Freddy Krueger. Like, Blob. Mike, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I like this. I had never seen it before. I didn't even know this movie existed until Hazel brought it up a few weeks ago. And I went into it thinking it was going to be kind of like a schlocky 80s B-side horror. And I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I was looking forward to that, but I got a whole different experience than I thought I was going to get, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a legitimately good movie. Yeah, the writing was pretty solid. The acting was, I mean, for what it was good. Loved the practical effects. It was funny. Like, yeah, there were some jump scares. The gory stuff was like even now kind of disturbingly gory.
Yeah.
By today's standards, I thought. So yeah, I mean, pleasantly surprised. Really liked it. I'd watch it again. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of you. This is a great recommendation. As I even told Hazel and they came over, I was like, I also got popcorn and movie theater candy for all of us.
That was a good ad. I was eating fucking Twizzlers and popcorn.
Yeah, like we had like lemon heads, Twizzlers, popcorn. I was like, because this movie for me is just like literally 80s Americana horror. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. Like, yeah, we talked about like there are stupid moves by the scientists. Some things are just shittily written in this. Who cares? Like, although I might be nitpicky about certain things, it did not detract from any of my viewing on this. I totally agree with all of you that some of the horror elements still hold up. Like, as an adult, I'm like, shit, like that is dark. That kid getting offed at the end, I'm like, oh my God. The phone booth for me is still like the most haunting area. The phone booth and like Paul getting it in the hospital, I was like, oh my God, like, you could just tell like this thing is horrific. I love that you don't really know what the blob is, even though it's like, we created it. The scientists are like, but like, dude, it's out of control. I love this. This movie could easily be remade. I would just be like trepidatious in how I would do it. Practical effects, as everyone noted in this room, would be essential. Like, if you're not doing that, then don't even do this. But yeah, usually our review, like, should you watch it with, as Rami, who has been on many times, asks, like, should we watch it together or should we watch it alone? Either or. I think this movie is successful in any way you view it. Really great remake. I thought this is a great idea, Hazel. Really spot on. I definitely recommend this movie, especially if you like horror and especially if you like 80s horror, because I agree, this is a gem that really holds up. I mean, sometimes I watch a lot of my 80s horror just out of nostalgic purposes. I'm like, I saw it a million times. I would love to see it again. But someone who has never seen that movie might be like, dude, you're watching a shitty movie. And I'm free to admit, like, yeah, it's nostalgic purposes. As Mike even noted, Mike had not seen this. This movie, I think, holds up. Like, you want to go back to a movie, and I think especially because of those practical effects.
This is not a shitty movie. This is a good 80s horror movie. Star Night is a shitty movie.
How dare you?
Whoa.
If you want to fucking see a shitty movie.
Let's not say things we're going to regret.
Yeah. Hey, man, keep the dragon in your pants. You know what's crazy? This movie's 1988. Next week, right back at you with another 1988 film.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, me too.
The Further Adventures of Tennessee Buck. A movie no one's seen in this room. A movie we should all be afraid of. Clearly an Indiana Jones ripoff, but good God. Again, the Further Adventures. The Further Adventures. The Further Adventures.
We don't know what adventuring he did before this.
I don't want to know. I don't know if I want to know. But yeah, 1988. Yeah. Before we part ways today, any final thoughts about The Blob in 1988?
No, go see it. Whoever's listening to this, just go see it.
Get into it. Get in The Blob.
Yeah. Get into The Blob. Let it envelop you.
Well, that's okay. Rhythm is a dancer. It's a source of anger. As always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Choke on that slime ball.